Good. Hey, John, how are you?
All right, and when you are ready, you are all set.
Hey, thank you, Seth. I'd like to welcome the town to the Scituate Board of Assessors meeting, July 27th, 11 a.m. Eastern. Meeting is now called to order. I would like everyone to take a look at the minutes, if we can, that Jackie so kindly attached. Once we're done with that, if I could get a motion to approve the minutes.
So moved.
All in favor?
I, Steve Guard.
Aye, Todd.
We may be
Think
having a
we're
little issue with John's audio. John Stanahan,
Okay.
he gave a thumbs up though.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
John, thumbs up.
Yeah, there you go, John.
Yes, aye.
Okay, so with the minutes approved, the next item on the agenda is reorganization. I believe what that means is, John, you're next up.
I
So
think
I
so.
would like to move to nominate John Danahy as chairman of the Board of Assessors for the upcoming year.
Second,
All in favor?
Steve, I.
Todd, aye?
I'll abstain.
Okay. That will pass. John, you are now the chairman of the Board of Assessors. Congratulations.
Well, thank you.
Congratulations.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's been 3 years since I've taken over the chair. I'm a little how do I put out of practice, I guess, at this point. But seeing that, as far as our right now, I think is there anything else that we want to discuss? Joe, did you want to give an update at all on the assessing?
Yes, there's I guess 3 issues I want to bring up. One is really quick, and it's actually on the agenda under new business. Just to let you know where we are. This is the time of year where we do a ton of inspections, and we actually have a new tool thanks to Nancy. She put in our budget $7,000 to obtain Near Map, which is kind of like Google Earth, only much more accurate. The pictures are taken from drones as opposed from satellite. So the pixelation, the clarity is awesome, and the ability to measure properties have been approved by the Department of Revenue. So it's a perfect rainy day project. So we're getting a lot more properties measured, but we are not just sitting in the office. Any property, whether it's measured or not, is inspected on site. But we cranked out, I think, in one day and one long day last week, 60 inspections in the field. Some just included a picture and verification of what we measured. Others included, a full 15-20 minute inspection. We are entering homes now with permission. Jackie and I have both been vaccinated, but we try to make it quick and minimal and only when absolutely necessary because of COVID, obviously. But we're on schedule. We still have about 200 more inspections to do. And we have basically a month to complete them, which gives us plenty of wiggle room to do as many measurements as possible. But right now we've stopped measuring every property through Near Map and concentrated only on the sales, since we want to make sure that database is as accurate as possible for the upcoming assessments and the analysis, which will occur at the end of August. But we will be going back to those properties that were inspected and not measured. And basically what would happen is that if a property is measured on Near Map and we find some deficiencies, we go out in the field and verify that Near Map is right, or just make sure that the measurements are as accurate as possible. Picking up pools left and right, sheds and things like that, but nothing major. But it is an excellent tool for the assessors, but it doesn't replace the field work, but it does speed up the process. And keeps us going full time.
Joe,
So-
how by utilizing it so far, have you found that there've been any major inaccuracies with prior measurements from
Couple
structure?
story height, couple second floors that we weren't assessing, which is unusual. Or we had one colonial that had a 0.5 for the upper story when it was a full second story, so that wasn't accurate. What else? You know, and like I said, really, it's just like pools and outbuildings. It's also helping us inspect like new decks and things like that. We can see them. The last flyover was in April, and it's clear as day, and we can measure the deck, confirm it. And if it doesn't need a full inspection, we're done with that inspection from the office. But every property will have eyes on it once every 10 years. And given that we still have, say, 25 to 2,700 properties that we need to inspect on site, whether it's a quick, picture and just a walk around or full-blown inspection. We have to do that within a year and a half. So this tool is going to help us, along with monies for contractual services with PK, who is our valuation consultant. But we're doing okay. I got a little nervous, and this tool really helped, and we're learning how to use it better. And I think it's going to be a valuable tool in the future. And it's unlimited access to municipal employees, so I can set all three of you up to have access to it. I think you'll find it's very useful.
Yeah,
Questions
I
from the
love
board?
that. You can set me up, Joe, for sure.
Yep, I will.
Sure.
Steve,
Yes, sure.
on that? No? All right, any other new business, Joe, that we got?
Yes, before you logged on, only Todd was on, and I had mentioned that Steve Bjorklund had been in the office regarding 4 properties in tax title. And actually, Steve just walked into our meeting, so he's not on camera, but he's sitting across the table from me next to Jackie. There's 4 properties in tax title, and the title references on most of the properties, I believe all of the properties, and the ownership on 2 of the properties were incorrect in the assessor database. All 4 were taken by the town treasurer. 2 are almost foreclosed on, 2 aren't. And we had a meeting last week or 2 weeks ago, last week, with Pam, town treasurer, and Karen Joseph, town planner, to go over the 4 properties. They're off of Laurelwood Street on the Norwell line. And so we got the town attorney for Pam, the town treasurer, involved, because he had been doing, he does the tax takings for the town, and asked him, for his research and his feedback. And it appears that he agrees with Steve as far as the title references on the 4 takings. And he actually took the properties with the correct name and title reference. So the takings are valid on 3 out of the 4 properties. There is 1 property that he's considering invalid. It's a very small valued property. I think it's only 14,000 square feet, valued at about $6,000. So I have not had a chance to talk to Pam regarding that taking, but that's the status. We are gonna update our records so that the assessors records match what Attorney Capola has found in his title examinations of the 4 properties, as well as Land Court's title examination of the 4 properties. but they actually agree with what Steve has brought forward, which was very useful. And when the takings took place, they were taken with the proper name, record owner, and title reference. So that's where we stand with that. So Steve's hearing this for the first time because I just read through the email before this meeting. So, yep.
You guys don't have to see me, but I'm here. I know a couple of you guys know who I am and what I do, kind of. The issue here is that two of the properties that were supposedly taken actually are in the town of Norwell. There's a title reference for one of them that they have assessed at about $178,000. And the $178,000 piece is a little tiny 65 square foot piece of land that's in the town of Norwell. So with all due respect to Mr. Capola, I don't think that Scituate can take Norwell property for non-payment of taxes. And two of these four parcels by deed, using the deed references that were used in the takings and plans of record in this subdivision indicate that both of those parcels were in the town of Norwell. So I don't know how land court handles Scituate taking Norwell property. I think it might be more messed up and than Mr. Capola might think, but again, I'll assume that he did some due diligence, but I think if this is laid out all the way for him with all the plans and everything, his memo possibly might change, I'm not sure. But the reality is that the proper owners of the property want to pay the taxes off on all four of these parcels that are due to the town of Scituate. We're just trying to figure out what is actually due to the town of Scituate. So that's why Mr. Capola is looking into this as well as Joe. And I sat down with Joe a number of times and went through this. I think that, he's seen the plan. So I think, Joe, you would agree, two of these are Norwell parcels.
Our title references, but as I mentioned, and I guess you missed that whole part, the actual takings were done with the title references that you believe in. So they weren't properties in Norwell, they were properties in Scituate. So all the takings have valid ownership and valid title references. He did not use our title references, no.
So let me ask you this, does anybody at this point, obviously this is dealing with the treasurer's office taking the property for the town. And again, this doesn't really relate to us as assessors. We just need to understand what we're assessing at some point when this property is either sold for at auction, or is the right to redemption. Do we know if that has expired?
They haven't actually foreclosed on the property. It's on the 1 yard line, or they have actually asked the court to foreclose on two of the properties a year ago. And the courts are behind, as you know, so that hasn't been done. But Steve and the owners want to redeem the property. They just want to know the right amount. And if it was an invalid taking, it would obviously be a different amount than if it was a valid taking. So as far as Capola is concerned, he actually leans the four properties using the title reference that Steve has given to me.
So at least two of the four properties we can all agree is Scituate property, and that has to be
They're all Scituate properties.
Yep.
The only reason why one's invalid, the $6,000 parcel valuation of $6,000, is because it was both land court and the registry, and it wasn't recorded in both places. So I guess it's considered invalid. And I have not had a chance to consult with Attorney Capola or Pam. But the rest of the takings, according to his memo, reference the same exact title references as Steve has given me, same exact deeds, same exact ownership, and that's how they were taken. And it was also verified by a land court title examination. So I don't think there's going to be an issue on 3 out of the 4, and we'll find out from Attorney Capola how to proceed with the invalid taking. It may, I'm not sure if it will involve reassessment. If it does, that's something we did in the past 3 years. We did that on one property on Rebecca Road. And that involves basically reissuing the tax bills, which would eliminate the interest and penalties. But it's a very small parcel. But that's where we
Is this
stand.
something, Joe, that we're gonna have to deal with within the next month in August?
It all depends on the feedback from Attorney Capola. So I have not talked to him and I have not talked to Pam at all.
All right, so can we have an update in about a month? Is that fair? or is it
Absolutely,
gonna take-
even less than that.
Okay.
Within a week, I'll send out an update on this issue.
Todd, do you have any questions?
I have no questions. I just want to make sure that if Ann's here, she gets a chance to speak, if this is what she's here for.
Steve, do you have any questions?
No, I don't, John.
Does anybody else have any questions on this? No?
All right.
Steve, you're always welcome. And we'll probably have it on our next meeting to discuss further. It's kind of fascinating. I disagree, you know, I think Scituate actually has always had rights to South Scituate, you know. So, you know, you're talking to the wrong chairman at this point, Steve, but nonetheless, it's an interesting legal issue. I'd like to know.
Well, I can tell you that the piece of paper that was given to me by the tax collector gives me all of these title references and 4 owners of the property. And she said, this is the takings. So that's what I relied upon for all the research that I did. And every one of these 4 references that she gave to me is incorrect on this piece of paper. So
Just out of curiosity, were they paying taxes in both towns? I mean, if
Say that
Norwell
again?
says it's on theirs and then Scituate has it here, Scituate sounds like we've been issuing, you know, payment for assessing it. And was Norwell doing the same?
all I can tell you is it's taken days and days and days to figure out these 4 parcels and exactly where the parcels lie.
Yep.
And again, one of the parcels that Scituate has in here is assessed for $178,000. It's in Norwell and it's 65 square feet of land based on the deed reference that was given to me for the taking. So if Mr. Capola changed all the deed references and the ownership names on these and did takings, I'm unaware of what happened in the land court, but based on the Scituate tax collector's records, every one of these was incorrect. So I don't know. I haven't read what he's done yet. So I won't agree or disagree with what he said until I get a chance to read it. Hopefully Joe will give it to me after we get off the Zoom meeting, so I can look at it and find out if I agree. These guys don't care. They just want to make sure it's right. That's all they're trying to do.
Well, we'll have an update, at least next meeting. We'll put that on the agenda, Jackie, if that's okay. Other than that, is there any other new business?
The only other new one is that several pages that Jackie attached. It was a question of who do we assess? It was a legal question. And, you know, normally 99% of the time, we don't change ownership unless it's some sort of a deed. And
So
it's
I looked
recorded-
at that, and I don't know,
Yes.
Steve, if you had a chance to look at it or Todd, but so my issue is this, you know, the statute states that upon the death, it's an automatic transfer to whoever is the ultimate, you know, the children. In this case, by will, it says it's going to the son. The problem is that he died in 1989, and I don't know why they haven't dealt with the deed. It should have been conveyed by fiduciary to the son, Mr. Powers. It hasn't been done in 30 years. So the title reference apparently is the deed, right, of the father who's deceased. And if that's the case, they got to change it unless I'm missing something.
I
By
think,
deed.
yeah, I think
Sorry.
John's right in that equitable title passes upon the death to the heirs of the property owner. But I believe that our standard is we are obligated to assess the record title holder without kind of looking past that. So if there was any kind of documents filed at the Registry of Deeds, I don't believe we're obligated unless, maybe this is a question for Joe, the DOR, are we obligated to look at the probate records as part of the chain of title. I'm pretty sure we're not. I think it's just the record title, not probate.
And the thing is, the only thing they have is letter of authority on the personal representative, which was of June of this year. So they've just nominated the personal representative. That's the person who's going to have to then do the fiduciary deed and deed it over to Mr. Powers, I would think. So I was going to ask you the same question, Joe. I mean, is there any obligation on our part to recognize something in probate? Because, you know, it's been sitting there for 30 years.
I don't know of an obligation, but I would defer to DOR on that. But I just don't think we've ever had to do that. I know this has come up before, but we continue to assess the deceased party until such time as the record title changes. And then I know we get into the whole, well, that's the deferment issue with the, where the interest rate goes through the roof once it, upon death, et cetera. That's not what we're dealing with here though, right? There's no deferment.
No.
Oh.
This is just who should we assess kind of question. And I agree with both of you, at least from my training, it's always assessed according to the recorded record. So if nothing's recorded, just like when it's husband and wife, and unfortunately the husband passes away, until that death certificate is recorded, we still assess both parties. Once it's recorded, then we're able to, take the husband's name off the title or off our record.
Makes sense.
Or the wife.
Or the wife if she passes, yes.
All right. Do you need any more clarification, Joe? or-
No, that's excellent. And that actually, for the heck of it, I'll send a contact to DOR an email. I know they're, I don't want to use any chits that I don't have to, but it wouldn't hurt. They probably have a IGR on this, because I can't imagine this is the first time it's come up. So just for clarification for the future, and I'll let you know what they say, what he says. But other than that, I don't have anything else. I don't know if the board agrees with me, but as far as the information I received from Attorney Capola, it's my opinion that that's attorney-client privilege until I get permission from Capola and Pam to release that. So it was not my intention to release that email.
I think you should talk to Capola first.
Yes,
I agree.
okay. I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, and Steve and I have a great
No.
relationship.
Communications between council and the town or anybody on a board is generally cloaked as attorney-client privilege, unless it's open to the forum for, in this case, I'd first defer to Attorney Capola before anything gets released.
But I'll do it quickly. I'm not gonna drag my feet or anything like that. As far as the next meeting, Steve's going hiking at the end of August.
Yeah.
So if you wanna maybe meet in the third week of August, does that sound good?
Let's see here. That would be the week of the 16th. What about the 23rd? I'm actually going to be taking my daughter to college that week. So,
Fantastic.
how's that for everybody? Like the 24th, 25th, 26th? Does that work?
That
For me,
I think that, that's when I think that I'll be kind of out of pocket for a few days, but trying to
What about
focus
the
on
last
the
week?
weekend. I'm trying to
What about-
focus on the weekends for that anyway. So if we make it a Tuesday, it should be fine.
What about the 31st?
That sounds good.
of
Before
August,
Labor Day. Yeah. Joe, does that work?
Yeah.
not for me. I'm out. I got the federal grand jury from the 30th to the 7th.
Lucky you.
You said you're out that week
can meet
on the
without me.
23rd, Steve?
No, I mean,
Sixth
I'm
or
just
25th?
estimating. That's fine. You can put it on that week. That's fine. The
What if we
23rd.
do- What if we do the Wednesday, the 25th, Joe?
Wednesday, the 25th,
Yeah, it's middle of the week.
Yep.
Sure.
same thing.
Okay,
11 o'clock?
That sounds good. I'll be on time this time. I had it there. Literally, I said an hour and a half ago, or an hour 15. I said, I got 11 o'clock and I should have put it on my reminder on my phone. I just got sucked into a case. My apologies. Thanks, Todd, for letting me know.
No problem.
that happened to me last meeting, remember? Same thing. It was on my phone and I still got sidetracked.
Is there any other questions? Anybody else?
The only other thing is, could you guys stop in at some point? We need the sign, we need your signatures on chapter land lien. This is on Border Street, not the Bleaky property or anything. 159 and 169 Border Street.
Sure. Sure.
That's it. I remembered everything, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Good. Then without anything else, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Guard, seconded by Mr. Glowak. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Steve, I.
Todd, aye.
All right, gentlemen. I guess that calls it a wrap. Joe?
All right. See you next time. Same
Seth,
back.
thank you very much.
All right.
Appreciate it.
You're very
Everybody
welcome.
stay
You're
safe.
very welcome.
Thanks, Seth.
You
Thanks,
got it.
Joe. Bye,
Yes,
guys.
thanks, Seth.
Stay safe.
Bye, guys.
Bye.